Hello everyone, Zane here and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video. So I have a very special announcement. I am going to be doing my own Ironman challenge in Final Fantasy XIV, except this is going to be something completely different from what Wrath Games is doing, which is soloing Final Fantasy XIV. Congratulations on doing Twintanium, by the way. And then Mr. Happy's Ironman challenge, which is basically doing the same thing Wrath is doing. I'm going to be doing the Gil Cap Ironman challenge, but to make this a little interesting, this is going to be through the Grand Company items only, aka the duck bones, which I'm always telling you guys to farm if you guys want straight up gil, because they go for 360 gil a piece. Now, the only way that I'm going to be able to cap this is by utilizing all of my currencies that are in the game. This includes Poetics, Heliometry, soon to be Mathematics in 7.4, Wolf Marks, Allied Seals, Centurial Seals, and Sacks of Nuts. You also have purple scripts for crafters and gatherers with the custom delivery clients, or if I decide to do script farming, which is going to be a little bit slower, but it is an option. So, when it comes to getting the tomestones, the hunt train for me is the best way to do it because we have a crap ton of people on other servers doing hunt trains every morning, so I usually jump on those trains and take advantage of it. So I will be getting a lot of Sacks of Nuts, a lot of Heliometry, and a lot of Poetics. For outside of that, we have our roulettes. So we have Expert for the Heliometry and Mathematics. We have Leveling Cap, High Level for Poetics, and also the gear that comes from them, whoever doesn't want the gear. Leveling, I will have to do this on Adventure in Need all the time to get the 4,200 extra points. Trial, Alliance Raid, Normal Raid, Mentor, and Frontlines. So all of these every single day. Now for Allied Seals, even though nobody's really doing this, the Blue Mage Log, which you have all these dungeons and trials that you can do, they do give you a crap ton of rewards, but no one's really going to do this. So ultimately, I'm going to have to skip these and just do the Mass Carnival every week. As for the Allied Seals, I'm going to be getting the accessories here instead of getting them outright from this vendor because I think that's cheating in my opinion. So I'm going to be getting the accessories here, which is going to give me 10 extra left over instead of using the 50 to get the duck bones outright. So this is what I'm going to do with my Allied Seals. Unless the S ranks and A ranks in A Realm Reborn, I don't think it's going to be worth my time doing that unless the S rank spawn, because I did try to go to Materia on the Oceanic data centers and kind of pilfer the A ranks there, but it was just too much time wasted and I could be doing other things like running my dungeons unsynced. So if you're wondering how many duck bones do I need to cap out at 999,999,999, get ready for this: 2,770,778, which is going to give me 1,000,080,080 gil. If I go one less, then I'm going to be under the gil cap, and that's not going to be possible. So I'm going to be going over by 80 gil, which is just fine. So this means I need to cap out my Grand Company seals over 18,000 times, unless they increase this in 8.0. If they increase our Grand Company rank, which I'm fingers crossed that they end up doing, but unfortunately if they don't, I need to do over 18,000 capping of this, and this is probably going to take me over a year or so to get this done, aka that's why it's called the Ironman Challenge. Now you're probably asking yourself, how do we know you're not going to cheat? Simple. The Free Company chest has a built-in history, just like your retainers, that tells you exactly the time, the date, and the year that you deposited into the chest. Now, I made sure that I'm only the one that has access to this, so no one in my Free Company can screw with my numbers. So, when I deposit the gil from the duck bones and stuff that I have right now, this will start the process, and then when I do the next update, you'll show you that I had not touched it since then. Okay, so ultimately what we're going to do now is that we're going to pass these in here. I do have some currency that I can spend, but I'm going to be utilizing this in the next update. Okay, so we're going to pass in what we have now. We are going to be utilizing the Seal Sweetener 2 buff to give us an extra 10%. This will work for the challenge log as well as any activity that gives you Grand Company seals, and also includes the roulette as well. Alright, so the Heliometry accessories are 2265 each time I pass him with a 10% buff. The Credendum accessories from Poetics from Razad Han are going to give me 2195. And I'm going to cap out. So just going to go over here, grab this, pass them in. So what I do with my hunt nuts, like I mentioned earlier, if I didn't mention earlier, I do the Moon Ward rings, okay? Until the heliometry gear goes down to 25 nuts. In Dawn Trail, I'm going back to Endwalker for that. Okay, so now what we need to do is plop these in here. And now I'm going to go to a vendor, which is right next door, and I'm going to vendor all these. But first, I gotta go to the retainers and dump my 831 million gil first. Okay, so we're going to do this in front of you guys, so I can be honest. So we're going to deposit. Now I got no gil. We're going to take everything out. Okay, go to a vendor. Ooh, just under 2 million gil so far. Okay, so now we're going to rush out here to deposit our first update. Gil, deposit. There you go. And there's the history right there, starting at November 10th, 2025 at, well, 14:23 in military time, which is 2:23 in the afternoon on a Monday. So this is where it's going to start. So hopefully by the next year or so, we'll see this at 999,999,999. So outside of these methods, I have dungeon on sync farming I can do. So for Shadowbringers, Mount Gulg, you always want to do the easiest and fastest leveling dungeon because they give you the most gear. So Mount Gulg is the best one because you can take like the first few pulls all the way up to the first boss. And then the rest of them can go up to the second boss and the last ones to the final boss. So Mount Gulg is your best one. For Stormblood, you have Doma Castle or the Volatides. And then for Heaven's Ward, you got the Gubal Library. But if you can do Mount Gulg is my option that I would go with. For Trials, Ravana, Extreme. You have Sophia Extreme, which is the next up in line. And Byakko will be next because Byakko can be bypassed in State of Shock by bypassing 60% of his HP. So more gear, I'll be able to do this and skip going through Ravana. As for the raids, you have, once you have better gear, Eden Resurrection. Stormblood, you have, most people would go with Helicarnassus, but ultimately I would go with the Phantom Train because he's omnidirectional. And then eventually you'll be able to do Chaos, which I can do just under a minute 20 seconds. So with better gear, Chaos will be the ultimate way of doing it in Stormblood. Then Heaven's Ward, people would say the Burden of the Father because it's the fastest. If you can skip Immortal Revolution the second time around, you can kill him in the first one, since he does not go invulnerable, he doesn't stay at 1 HP. So you guys can do that as well. The Eyes of the Creator is next in line as well, but you have to go through some ads and then Faust just to get to that. Okay, so that is going to be my ultimate selection for when it comes to the raids. So the last options for currency is Boja, Eureka, Pilgrim's Traverse, or any of the deep dungeons because you get a lot of tomestones and stuff like that from there. But ultimately that is what I'm going to be doing when there's nothing else to do, when I did all my roulettes and stuff like that. I can go into that, but I don't think those are going to be very better options than running dungeons because dungeons are quicker, they're faster, and they're straight to the point. But ultimately that is what I'm going to be doing for the next year or two until I hit Gil Cap. Since those items are not tradable, you only can get them yourself, so you can't have other people help you, which is great, so I can't cheat regardless. Alright guys, so that is going to be my first update for this Ironman challenge. So I will see you guys in my next update when I end up getting a crap ton more duck bones for the next update. So until next time, may you forever walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut. And always remember to keep forging ahead. And I'll see you in the next one. And that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you're new for more Final Fantasy XIV content and help with the YouTube algorithm. If you guys want to support my channel even further, consider becoming a YouTube member, Patreon supporter, or help me on Ko-Fi. The links for those will be in the description down below, as well as my Discord. And the extra special shout out to the members on screen. So until next time, may you forever walk in the glorious light of Lord Bahamut, and always remember to keep forging